The loss of a child after birth is a devastating event for families, and often people do not know what to do or say to the parents. Carle Health is offering some help through Shining Light Infant Memorial events, and here to discuss is Rachel Campbell, perinatal grief and bereavement liaison at Carle Foundation Hospital. So glad to have you here with us today, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, what an important topic to talk about, and so people know the resources available to them. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of your role, what you do, and the importance of supporting these families who maybe lost a child.
So my role is to support families who are experiencing perinatal loss, which is the loss of a pregnancy or an infant, and to make sure that our facility is doing everything we can to take exceptional care of these families. This is really important because although it's terrible, perinatal loss is actually quite common, but people who are experiencing it often feel like they are pressured to hide it, pressured to move on quickly, pressured not to talk about it very much. And that's, of course, very harmful and very painful for those families. And so we're doing what we can to make sure those families have the support that they need and that they can go out in this world confidently grieving their children appropriately.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do sense that kind of way that people like to hide those things, and really there's a way to honor it. And
Absolutely.
you guys are doing that at kind of two different locations that you have available there with Carle. Tell us about those.
So both of our events will take place on October 15th because that is the International Wave of Light, which is an annual event in which families around the world light candles at 7 p.m. to remember their babies who have died. So in honor of that time, of that day, we will be hosting two events. One will be at Carle Broman Regional Health Center, and one will be here in Urbana at Carle Foundation Hospital. The event in Normal will be starting at 6:30 p.m. with a garden walk, followed by a ceremony in their garden chapel at 7. The event here will start with an opportunity to make luminaries for our babies at 6 p.m., followed by the ceremony at 7 in the Pollard Auditorium, and then we will have a cookie reception outside in our Shining Light Memorial Garden. It's always so sweet and beautiful out there.
A literal sweet way to end the evening honoring our babies. Now, if someone can't attend in person, are there options for them?
Absolutely. With the height of COVID, we started offering the ceremony online, virtually, and we are going to continue to do that every year. So we will be streaming the event online on Microsoft Teams, and families need only go to our webpage, carle.org, type in Shining Light, and they will find the event pages for both events, and they can click the link and join for free.
Okay, and it sounds like at the ceremony there's something that families can participate in if they decide to kind of in advance. Tell me a little bit about this.
Absolutely. So what we have started doing in the last few years that families have really benefited from is doing a reading of names. So at both events, families will have the opportunity to submit their child's name ahead of time to be read along with all the other names of the babies. And it's a very lovely tribute and a really nice time.
Yeah. Okay, if there are people that are listening to this thinking, gosh, a friend or I myself have experienced a loss of a baby, what would you say to them to encourage them or help them get them in the right direction of a resource?
So for families who are experiencing grief, I would say don't pressure yourself to grieve the same way that you see other people grieve. I would say give yourself space to grieve however you feel is best to you. There's not one way to grieve. There is many ways to grieve as there are people in the world, and the right way for you is the right way for you. For those around our families who have experienced loss, I would say don't act like it didn't happen. Give them opportunities to talk about their baby, give them opportunities to talk about their loss. Ask to see pictures if appropriate. Ask them to tell their story if appropriate. Don't act like it's taboo. Don't act like it didn't happen, because it very much did. And these children are always parts of their families, even if they're not here with them in their arms.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some good advice there. Now, ceremony times and locations, all that one more time for us.
So Carle Broman Regional Health Center in Normal. Their event will start at 6:30 with a garden walk, followed by their ceremony at 7 p.m. in their garden chapel. And then the Urbana event will be at Carle Foundation Hospital in the Pollard Auditorium, starting with opportunity to make luminaries at 6 p.m. and then at 7 p.m. we will have our ceremony followed by a cookie reception outside in our garden.
Perfect. I love it. Rachel, thank you so much for
Thank you for
joining
having
us.
me.
Yes, and filling us in. If you are interested in checking out maybe one of these ceremonies, we will connect you with the details over on our website, CILiving.tv. And we do appreciate Carle for sponsoring our segment today.